Good morning, children. Today we are going to learn about what? Yes, you are right. Skeletal system. See, in our body, some organs will group together to perform a particular function. For the body is called an organ system. In your fourth class, you have learned some organ systems. For example, which system helps us to breathe? Yes, you are right. Respiratory system. Which system breaks our food into simpler substances? Yes, it is digestive system. Now, which system helps us to remove the waste material from our body? Yeah, you are right. That is excretory system. In this lesson, we are going to learn about skeletal system and nervous system in detail. What do you mean by skeletal system? The framework of bones that gives shape, support, and strength to our body is called as skeletal system. How many systems an adult human skeleton has? Do you know? Yes, you are right. There are 206 bones of different shapes and sizes in our body. For example, the leg and the arm bones are long. The chest bones are thin around. And they are rounded. At birth, a child has more bones, but with growth, some of them join together. From outside, bones are hard, tough, but inside they are soft and spongy. The inside of bones contain a jelly-like substance known as bone marrow. Now, this is the skull. These are collarbones and these are collar blades. And this is the rib cage, upper arm and lower arm bones and hand bones, chest bone, backbone, girdle, pelvic girdles, thigh bone, leg bones, and foot bones. Now, in detail, we are going to learn about the skeleton. Now, about the skeleton. Skeleton, the supportive framework of an animal body. This designation includes bone and the various fibrous substances that form the joints, connect bone to bone and bone to muscle, enclose muscle bundles, and attach the internal organs to the supporting structure. So, human body has 206 bones. Coming to the next, the skull. Skull of an adult human being has 22 bones. It contains holes for eyes, ears, nose, and mouth. The upper portion of the skull is made up of 8 flat bones which protect our brain. The face and jaw contain 14 bones. All bones in the skull are fixed except the bones in the lower jaw region. It enables us to eat and speak. The skull is a bony structure. Once again, The skull is a bony structure that supports the face and forms a protective cavity for the brain. The skull is a bony structure that supports the face and forms a protective cavity for the brain. The main function of the bones of the skull, along with the surrounded meninges, is to provide protection and structure. The bony parts of our head is called the skull. It is made up of 22 bony plates joined together, and the upper portion of the skull is made up of 8 flat bones which protects our brain. The face and jaw contain 14 bones, in which only the lower jaw bones are movable, which enables us to eat and speak. Coming to the rib cage. The rib cage consists of 24 bones, that is 2 sets of 12, which are attached to long flat bone in the center of the chest, which is known as sternum. The rib cage helps protect the delicate organs in the chest, such as the heart and lungs, from damage. They are called the last 2 pairs of bones are not attached to the sternum and they are called floating ribs. Once again, ribs are thin, flat, and curved bones. They make a cage around our chest. This is called as rib cage. It protects our heart and lungs. There are 12 pairs of ribs in the rib cage. A long bone at the center of chest called sternum holds the ribs at front. The ribs are also attached to the backbone at the back. The last 2 pairs of ribs are free and joined only to the backbone, not to the sternum. They are called floating ribs. Here, these are the floating ribs. Next, coming to backbone, the skull is attached to the backbone, which forms the main axis of our skeleton. Our backbone is made up of 33 small bones called vertebrae. The vertebrae join to form a strong column called the spine or the vertebral column. It is flexible and protects the delicate spinal cord. The joints of vertebrae allow slight movements. Due to this, we can move our backbone forward and backward. Each vertebrae has a hole through which delicate spinal cord passes. Again, the backbone encloses the spinal cord and the fluid surrounding the spinal cord. Our backbone is made up of 33 small bones called vertebrae, also called spinal column, spine, or vertebral column. The spine is made up of bones, muscles, tendons, nerves, and other tissues that reach from the base of the skull near the spinal cord. Next is shoulder bones. The human body has 2 shoulders, one on either side of the neck. There are 2 shoulder bones and collar bones and shoulder blade. These are the collar bones, these are the shoulder blades. These are the collar bones, these are the shoulder blades. The collar bone is long, curved bone. One end of the collarbone is attached to the shoulder blade and other end of the collarbone is fixed to the breastbone of the rib cage. This is attached. One is attached. One end is to collar blade and this is the chest bone. One is the shoulder blade. This ends shoulder blade. The other end is to the chest bone, the rib cage. Pelvic bone. The hip bone is also known as pelvic bone. It is made up of a number of bones fused together by fixed joints. The hip bone encloses the portion of our body below the stomach. The hip bone has two sockets on either side of its lower part. Now, once again, the limbs. Our skeleton has two pairs of limbs. These are forelimbs or arms, and hind limbs or legs. The upper limbs are attached to the shoulder girdle or pectoral girdle. The upper arm has one long bone called humerus, while the lower arm has two small bones called radius and ulna. The wrist and fingers have several small bones. The bones of the hind limb are attached to the hip girdle. The upper bone of the leg is called femur or thigh bone. It is the largest bone in the body. The lower bones of legs are tibia and fibula. Nearly half of our bones are in our hands, wrists, feet, and ankles. They are present. The forelimbs are used for different tasks such as writing, lifting, and pulling the objects. The hind limbs are used for walking and running. Cartilage. Cartilage is soft, elastic, and flexible connective tissue that protects the bone from rubbing each other. Bones are of two types, compact or spongy. Cartilage is of three types, hyaline cartilage, fibrocartilage, and elastic cartilage. Muscle. Muscle is a fibrous tissue in the body that has the ability to contract. Muscles are attached to the bones of our skeleton through strong fibers called tendon. When the muscles attached to bone contracts, it pulls the bone, due to which the bone moves at the joint. There are 650 muscles in our body. For example, two muscles called biceps and triceps. Once again, the bones cannot move without muscles. Muscles are made up of elastic tissues. They are attached to the bones by strong fibers called tendons. There are about 650 muscles in our body, and each does a particular function. Muscles make 40% of weight of our body. Muscles work by pulling the bones. They cannot push the bones. So at least two separate muscles are required to move a bone. For example, the two muscles are called biceps and triceps. Move our arm up and down. The work in pair, they work in pairs by repeated contraction and relaxation. When you pull your lower arm, biceps contract and biceps relax. When you straighten your arm, the triceps contract and biceps relax. Thank you, children.